Hey, I'm just dropping in before the video starts to let everybody know that if you do start to watch the video, this is for my Hazelnut Lavender Lemon Balm Mead. I went to edit it and found that the audio was completely horrible and hissy, and you could barely hear my voice. So I got a little help from a friend who used Adobe Podcast to try to salvage my audio, and it kind of worked. And if you listen to it, it's pretty funny, at least to me. My voice is a lot deeper in parts, and I have more of a lisp, and I slur a lot, so sometimes it's hard to understand me, but I think you can still get the gist of the video. So, without further ado, here's a puppy that we're watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks.
Hello and welcome back to Loud Creations. In today's video, I'm going to be checking in on my Hazelnut Lavender Lemon Balm Mead that I started back on the new moon in Sagittarius. And I'm doing this video. I'm roughly on a schedule of following the new and full moon just so I can stay on track, but I am a week behind. So this video is for the full moon in Gemini. That's the other half of the ingredients for this mead, which I will be getting into later in the video. I will also be stabilizing the mead using potassium sorbate and Campden tablets, and this will be my first time doing that. I had been pasteurizing my meads before, and I really am not sure if that road has had an impact on the flavor, so I'm going to go ahead and try something different, see how it works. And I'll be adding my hazelnut extract that I started a couple months ago and needing something. So let's get to it. Okay. So first step is I'm going to move the mead from my primary carboy, where it has been fermenting for about 3 weeks, and I'm going to put it into my pitcher and take a gravity reading, see where we're at. And I'll probably add the hazelnut at this point, and then perhaps a little bit of honey. And then I'll take a gravity reading again and stabilize the mead. Let's see how this all works out. So you put the tubing into the vessel that you want the liquid to go into, and then the pump just goes right into the primary. And let this go in, hopefully. House. Interesting. I can really smell the lavender. So this is going to take a minute, and while this is moving into my picture, I will go ahead and talk about how I selected the herbs for this mead. So what I'm doing just to make it easier for me to figure out what to put in my meads and get creative with it, I've been following the new and full moon and then taking the sign for each and finding herbs that are associated with those astrological signs. So for this moon cycle, it was a new moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's ruled by Jupiter. And then the full moon was in Gemini, which is an air sign and ruled by Mercury. So I picked herbs that are associated with either the planets or the element or the sign itself. So lemon balm is what I chose for Sagittarius, and lemon balm is associated with the element of fire and Jupiter as a Sagittarius. Hello, let's start to get to the end here. And then the lavender and hazelnut I chose for the zodiac sign Gemini because they're both ruled by air and Mercury. And this varies depending on the source, but this is just the books I have on. So that's how I selected these herbs. It looks like we're just about done wrapping. I'll just put this out with folder. Ooh, that smells really nice. I can smell the lavenders for sure. So what I'm going to do now is take a gravity reading. My original gravity was 1.122. And let's see where we're at now. So I have my hydrometer, got my turkey baster. It has some bubbles in it, but I'm just going to go for it anyway. And let's see where we're at with this. Okay, so we are at 1.014. And then here's my phone, then calculator online. For spread, that's the one I use. If you need a calculator. So I started out at 1.122. And here ending at 1.014. Can be very strong. Boop. You're at 14%. So I'm definitely going to stabilize this because I don't want to get much higher than 14%. I had a lot of high ABV meats and it spun while it lasted, but now I'm ready to get more into the flavors, and I think lower ABV make it. Yeah, try something. Anyway, lower ABV sounds like a better caramel going forward. Okay, so I'm going to taste a little bit of this. It still has some residual sugar in it, so I probably won't add honey. What I will add is some hazelnut. Well, it's definitely young, and it's still fizzy, so the yeast is still really doing its thing, and it's still pretty hazy too. Ooh. Yeah, I can definitely taste the lavender up front. It's not too strong, but it's definitely there. And I like to think I can taste thorn and balm a little bit. There was also some lemon peel in here as well. So, yes, plus it. I think this is going to be good. So, I haven't strained this yet. It's been sitting in my closet. Now, what I thought I'd do is add like a teaspoon at a time and see what happens. So this is the next step. My glass over here. I'm going to do a teaspoon of, let me see. I have to decide how long it is. I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to do a half a tablespoon of this hazelnut extract that I should have put into a different container, but here we are. No, higher. Key that oil, some hazelnut up. And it smells really nice. This is exciting. This is my first attempt at hazelnut extract. Well, if it works out, I'll be even more. Okay, so I'm putting in half a tablespoon. And this extract's not smelling super strong, and I'm going to stir this a little bit, degas it. It's definitely gassy. Also, I want to get that plate over. Then, there is a little bit of alcohol in the extract with vodka. Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty insignificant amount. So I'm going to take one more gravity reading just to be sure on that fermentation stopped. So I have something to bill against when I'll check in a couple days after adding stuff to it. Who's done that? So anyway, they said there's one you had to crazy here and on the ad. And mother has to do this in. And I can always add more at the end too, before I bottle. I wanted to be a little bit today to even see if it makes a difference in the flavor. Gary, Ron, not the best about gassing. Yeah, so, Henry, yeah, can he just invent him worse? Okay, now I'm gonna get a fresh little base. At the end, and all these thing, I did lavender. And that snowing thing. This cinnamon. Like the flavor's definitely different, but I wouldn't say I taste Hazelnut. Uh, I'm gonna have I'm gonna add one more half tablespoon, and then if I feel like when it's time to bottle in a few months, and Lauren, I still don't taste anything from that, I'm gonna add a little bit more. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and just one more half to aspiring. Half tablespoons. Season. Actually, some. Here the salt. Hit you through. Okay. Hence the step. And you hatched. Yeah, it's hard to say with the gases and the smell of lavender. I think hazelnut's just getting lost in there. So it tastes a little softer to me. That makes sense. That could be from the hazelnut. Could be my imagination. Could be that I've had a little bit of Mead now. Well, whatever it is, it's definitely good. I'm going to go ahead and take one more gravity game and then wrap this up, and then I'll get into some of the folklore and medicinal uses for lavender, lemon balm, and even hazelnut. Oh, it went down a little bit. Okay, so I had a minor impact, I think. Or not. I'm still going to call it 1.14. I mean, it's like it was kind of between two lines, and now it's closer to a line, but I'm going to just call it good. So this mead, as long as these things work, will be roughly 14%, which is perfect for my purposes. And then it for that bathroom, you pour a little bit more in the glass than it takes. It's then the long. Okay. So that's the hair. Now, I ran out of 1 gallon carboys, so I have this 3/4 gallon apple cider jug that I'm going to move this into. And I'm not having a really great thing about it sitting, but we're going to do it in May, and then I'll just, but because this is totally drinkable. It's not, I've had some where I've racked it, after a couple weeks to a month, and it's pretty foul. So, so we're doing good here. Here's. Now, I think I can taste the hazelnut. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, and tell me if I'm doing this wrong, guys, is if anybody's watching who's used Hampton tablets, I was told to smash 1 tablet per gallon, and then I'm going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of potassium sorbate. And I need some scissors. You need to stop. It's alright. My name 1/2 teaspoon potassium sorbate. Okay. Fresh ones. Brought a couple spoons for that. Pressure. I'm gonna put that side. You missed it. It crushed. Okay, and then I'm gonna and that's 39%. Nice. And stuff to be spanned. A little bit. What? Anybody else just feel awkward when they're making mead, or is it this me in the place and always feeling a little bit awkward? All right, so step whatever, step 5. I don't know where we're at, but I'm going to it's a little bit more. So I'm going to move the liquid from my pitcher into my little real bubbles in it. Hold on. Maybe everyone's turn. I'm actually racking and stabilizing 2 different needs. I'm going to stabilize the 2 single pendants. Oh, right back here. I'm also going to be stabilizing my passion flower mugwort sizer, which is sitting behind me. And I probably shouldn't have thrown that student away. Okay, so here's my little bit of bubbles left in here, but I'm just going to bear with it. More meads to the right now. I'm not so sure I stirred this around very well. Raw. Go ahead and flash forward to me with some books talking about what all these different herbs are used for. I'll be right back. So this is pretty much full. I'm left with about 16 ounces of mead that I'm just going to set aside for now. Where am I putting that? Here. I said I was going to be back with some books, but I'm actually going to put the bonds in here and the airlock and update my label of a pen. Oh, I don't have a label. Yeah, I have it. I have it left it. Airfeed. Rhapsody. Stop. Hurt on it. A week late. And you were at alarm. And was me. Or. Okay, so I updated my label. This has been stabilized. It is now going in my closet, and I will check in on it in a couple days just to see if the gravity changed at all. Maybe a few bullets. I've wanted to stick to some months. On it. Down the lid. And this. Go right over here. Books. Well, let's start with the lemon balm, and I've done, several meads with lemon balm at this point because I have a ton of it in my backyard in the summertime. Actually, I think that's the road. And then bottom and whip, and then go in and very good. Okay. So, lemon balm is fiery and it's ruled by Jupiter, means expansive. The description in this little book, which is the Natural Encyclopedia of Natural Navigator, says it is another useful member of the mint family. Lemon balm is native to the Middle East and the Mediterranean basin, but can be found growing wild in many places as an escape from gardens, which I have all over my backyard. It has the square stem and paired leaves of other mints with clusters of flowers that may be in color from pink through yellow to blue and white. And the whole plant has a lemony scent on bruise, and it's a favorite of bees. And I love it. It just like, if I break a leaf and smell it, it puts me in a better mood almost instantly. So it just has that uplifting element to it. It's also a nervine, so it's relaxing. So some of the lore associated with lemon balm. One of the oldest medicinal herbs, lemon balm is important in medical alchemy, or spagyrics. And the preparation of an alchemical tincture of lemon balm is one of the first tasks set for the beginner alchemists in many present-day schools of the Hermetic arts. Interesting. Let's look. I don't know if it's in here. I think it is. Yep, there it is. So this is just a book of herbal medicine, and it gives some medicinal uses for various herbs. Lemon balm is commonly used for Lemon balm is commonly used for nervous system complaints such as nervousness, anxiety, stress, headaches caused by nervous tension, agitation, especially for those with Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and ADHD. Which, that ADHD thing, that's no joke. It also helps with stress-related digestive complaints and illness that affect the nervous system, including chronic fatigue and depression. Along with these benefits, it improves concentration and cognitive function, increases flow of bile to the liver, aids in fighting off viruses, and lowers blood pressure. And when used externally, lemon balm repels mosquitoes, which I actually used in my backyard. I would just grab lemon balm myself. Whether or not it helped, I don't know, but it does smell like a citronella candle. Kind of. it says here that lemon balm is considered safe except for those with hypothyroidism or low thyroid activity. So, again, with any herbs that you're playing around with, it's really good to be researched before you ingest anything. Um, yeah. Says preparations like glycerite, hydrosol, infused oils, powders, salves, teas, tinctures, and vinegars. I made an elixir, so that's basically a tincture, right, with honey and vodka, and I still use it, and it's nice to have on hand. And also the lemon balm mead I've made. Wait, it's really super relaxing. It's a nice mead. It's a nice addition to mead. Okay, so moving on to lavender. Lavender. So, lavender is what I chose for Gemini, and Gemini is an air sign, which is very intellectual, up in head. It's also ruled by Mercury, which is being the planet associated with communication. Some of the ailments for Gemini would be like circular thinking and anxiety that comes out of that. And so I thought that lavender would be a great addition because lavender is relaxing and uplifting and all that good stuff. So it's associated, it's a hot, it's associated with Mercury and air, as I said, and it can be used for purification baths. It's also good for incense, or some of the folklore is it is thrown into a midsummer fire by witches as a sacrifice to the ancient gods. Lavender is frequently in addition with healing bath mixtures and is added to incenses to cause sleep. It is, at one time, it was carried with rosemary to preserve chastity. Oh, I remember this. See, I already talked about this in another video because preserving chastity, but it can also like be we're in the opposite sex. So that's all about. Anyway, conversely, it's widely used to attract men for sexual affairs. There you go. Lavender. I love lavender. I'd say if all the herbs or flowers, lavender's the one that I have around, and I did an extract with it, which is really easy to do, and have it now to add to whatever I'm baking something to meats. So exciting stuff. So there's lavender, and there might be a little more salt, of course, in here for lavender. Let's see. There we go. It is a valuable stimulant to the psychic and visionary senses and can be used for visionary work, for magical dream work, or as an incense for meditation. Some of the lore around lavender, it has a reputation as an aphrodisiac, but also it inhibits sexual arousal. So, says in early times, those who needed help maintaining vows of chastity would wear lavender garlands. So now you know it. It's also with ensuring and septic, and antibacterial, lavender. There we go. So it's good for relaxing muscles, even spasms, using as a fear tincture or in vinegar. It helps with digestion, gas, nausea, intestinal cramping. It encourages sleep, helps with wounds, eczema, varicose ulcers, sunburned skin. Yeah, it's just a great overall herb. So there's our, oh, and then I think there is something in here for hazel, the hazel tree. That up. If you're still with me, thank you. So hazel is a shrub or a small tree found in temperate areas throughout the northern hemisphere. The tall shrub, often growing in clusters, and it's witch hazel, a related shrub, has much of the same appearance and folklore around it. So the folklore and magical things, I already went over the lore, but the hazel may be used to invoke mercurial energies. The nuts make an excellent clean food of that planet, and any part of the plant may be used for working to invoke wisdom. And as I said earlier, it has been traditionally used to make wands and divinity sticks. So that's what we have for Hazel, and that was it's ruled by Mercury, as is Gemini, so that's why I picked it. And I think that covers it. I'm going to go ahead and stabilize and you can find me. And I'm not. Enjoy a glass of my young Hazelnut Lavender and Balm Mead. But so far, it was pretty tasty. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Thank you.